I don't know what's going on. I don't know if YouTube is spying on me or something, but I did do a video, and Poland was obviously involved in it because it was a video about Europe, and I was like, man, I don't really know much about Poland. And then YouTube recommends a video for me to check out. So we're going to be checking out this video titled, I think I needed to visit Poland. I'm shocked. I'm not sure where this guy is from. I hope he's American. That would be really amazing. But yeah, he visited Poland and he got shocked. He got shook. That's what the title says. But either ways, man, we're going to be checking out this video right now. Thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations about Poland, anywhere in Europe, click that link in the pinned comment section and you can recommend video and I'll check it out as soon as possible. Without further ado, guys, please do like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and let's get right into this video.
Can you be connected to a country and not realize it? October 18th, 2005, northeastern Pennsylvania, USA.
Oh, say.
I'm in the 7th grade, and it's Wednesday, the best day of the week. Why? Because Wednesday was pierogi day.
Okay.
A pierogi is simple. It's a Polish dumpling. It has an outer base of either bread or noodle, and it can sort of be filled with anything. But the only version of pierogi that I was familiar with growing up was made out of noodles, filled with mashed potatoes, boiled, and smothered in butter and onions. I wasn't alone in my excitement either. The lunch ladies knew how much we all loved pierogis, and I think they put it in the middle of the week so that we had something to look forward to on Mondays and Tuesdays. Pierogis were a huge part of my childhood, but I never thought about why that was. Cut to almost 20 years later, and I'm spending a month based out of Prague, and I'm extremely on the fence about using one of my precious travel weekends to visit Poland. One of the best parts about staying in Prague is that it's so centrally located within Europe. I had the option to go to so many places. Is Poland worth it? For some reason, something in me eventually said yes. There aren't even direct trains to most Polish cities. So instead, I booked round-trip bus tickets to the nearest one, from Prague to Wrocław. Wrocław is hard to pronounce. It's not on many people's bucket lists. I would wager that a large portion of the American population has never even heard of it. I figured, I would walk around, get some food, get in, get out. Check Poland off the list and move on.
I'm being honest, I don't know nowhere in Poland. I know Poland, but I don't know nowhere in Poland. I don't think the average American knows majority of Europe. So to even think that, they'd know a Polish city is it's a little bit on the extreme side, because I'm more knowledgeable than the average American, and I definitely don't know much about Poland at all. I don't know, literally, I just don't. But what I will say is that if you'll find Americans who know Paris and if you say Venice Beach, Venice to Americans, they're gonna think about California. Because that's what I've always thought about. I didn't know that Venice was actually in Italy, and that's where it came from. I didn't know that. So, no, they wouldn't know it.
To the next destination. That's not how it went. I dropped my bag at the hotel and headed for the main square, called the Rajnik of Wrocław. I was starving, so I didn't even look around at my options. I didn't do any research. You wanna know a secret?
That's pretty.
I wasn't even certain that I was going to make a YouTube video about Wrocław. I'm serious. I mean, would anyone watch? Right on the corner of the square, I saw Stary Mirin Pierogarnia. They had just finished setup and were freshly open for lunch. Now, I had never eaten a professional pierogi. I sat down, opened my menu, and was faced with option upon option. Baked, boiled, fried, filling options for days, multiple sauce options. I went with the Mega Mix, which includes 4 boiled and 3 oven-baked pierogis. I got a couple filled with the standard mashed potato flavor, along with some filled with beef, some filled with pork, and all of them situated alongside some sour cream and cooked onions. First of all, quite simply, this was an absolutely astonishingly delicious meal. Now, we've already established how much I love pierogis, but it needs to be said that these were on another level. And, of course they were. This is a professional pierogi restaurant in Poland. What was I expecting? Now, I make a lot of food videos. If you spend any time on this channel, you kind of know that that's what I do. But it's one thing to eat food. It's another thing entirely for food to awaken a realization in you. It sounds dramatic, but I truly had a major light bulb moment at this restaurant. What I realized changed the way that I was about to view my trip to Wrocław entirely. I started to walk around the square. I was full, I was happy. It was a perfect day. I think it was actually 72 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny, and I was noticing things differently now. Now, it's important to mention that I am not in any way Polish. My ancestry is almost entirely English with a little bit of Irish mixed in. Polish is not a part of my background, at least not in a genetic sense. That said, it's a little different in the environmental sense. See, the reason that we were fed pierogies every week in school is because the part of the USA that I am from, in northeastern Pennsylvania, is heavily Polish. Polish food and traditions are baked into society in such a substantial way that I sort of thought that that's just how everyone in America lived.
I'm just being real with you. I did not think that thing was Polish. Like I've had it before, but you could have never paid me to tell you that was Polish. Never.
Culinary traditions were passed on to me throughout my childhood without me even realizing it. From a traditional standpoint, this place might be the closest thing to home that exists for me in Europe. I quickly opened Google and searched most famous dishes to try in Poland. And I actually got a little bit emotional when I saw that most of them were just variations on dishes that I grew up eating. I went to a traditional pub called Bar Ubitki, where I had some delicious sausage with a side of potatoes. And because apparently that's not quite enough potatoes for one Polish meal, I ordered a side of potato pancakes as well. This took me right home, right to the Plymouth, Pennsylvania Kielbasa Festival. I could not wait for my next meal. My curiosity was at an all-time high. The next day I went to a really cool restaurant called Restauracja Konspira to try cabbage rolls, or as my family would call them, pigs in a blanket. Now let me just say, this is a really fascinating place to eat. It's based around Poland in the 80s, a time in which Poland was trying to figure out its identity.
That's actually pretty crazy because, like, I don't really know, like, obviously I'm not from Pennsylvania, but I don't really know. I had no idea that the culture there was so influenced by Poland. Like, that's actually really strange. Like, even the sausage and stuff like that. Yeah, I would have never imagined that. Like, eating sausage in the United States? Like, nah, I would have never imagined that there's anyone doing that. But that's what the United States gives you, man. Like, different lifestyles, different everything is, like, so different. Right? So, yeah. But I should ask my family that lives there, because I have family that live there. Like, it's not exactly there, but it's more like Delaware. But you know, OG, like for years upon years, like way people older than me, if you get the point that I'm saying, and then the whole family spread it out, right? But most of my family are in the southern states, so it's actually quite interesting to know about this. But hey,
in the post-war, post-communist era. I highly recommend making a visit if you happen to be in town. The menu doubles as a historical magazine, which gives a really interesting backdrop to the experience, and the food is super affordable and amazing. I actually found a famous Polish dish called żurek that I ordered as my starter. It's made with a rye flour base and comes with pork and a boiled egg. Now, this was new, but I'd be lying if I said we didn't have something pretty similar pretty often when I was a kid. The soup was great, the cabbage rolls were delicious. I intended to order them covered in tomato sauce, but I somehow accidentally got mushroom cream sauce. But you know, I took the opportunity to try a new version of a dish that was familiar to me. I'll stick with a tomato. It was Easter weekend, which meant that almost everything was closed. It's crazy how less than 24 hours before, I was unconvinced if I should even visit Poland, and now I was wishing I had picked a more opportune weekend to go. But you know what? It actually ended up being perfect. Without the museums, without the distractions, I was really able to just take in the city. I took part in a free walking tour, which I'll actually link below if you're interested in doing, which really helped me gain a better understanding of the culture and the history of Wrocław. Part of that was visiting the university area, where I learned that the sword being held by the naked fencing man statue is constantly being stolen and replaced. It's basically become a sport. I got to visit Cathedral Island on Easter Sunday and see all the local people leaving church on one of the two holiest days of the Christian year. I saw all the love locks in the area surrounding Tumsky Bridge, and found it pretty funny to see how hard the city is working to stop couples from doing this. Apparently multiple tons.
Honestly, I don't even know why people do this, bro. Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I can promise you that most of these relationships are like dead. Like, man, I ain't hating, bro, but like, dog, what? I even saw a video of this like on like an Instagram where somebody actually went back and took the locks off, and you know you actually threw the keys away or some crap like that. Nah, bro, I'm not doing this, but you know, it's a culture and I understand, and I've seen it here in Finland as well, but I'm not doing that. No.
Locks had recently been removed. I took a boat cruise at the last second, and it turns out the tour was completely in Polish, which makes sense, I guess, in Poland. But I was just grateful that someone with a boat was open to selling tickets on Easter Sunday. I hunted for dwarves all across town. There are over 1,000 of these in Wrocław. It's sort of their thing. You can buy a map with stickers to try and track down 60 of the most famous ones. They have an incredible story based around the Orange Alternative movement, which used peaceful protest to combat communism in the 80s. Now, their symbol is everywhere, and it's probably one of the cutest and most original free family activities that I have ever seen. Watching the kids' joy when they found a new one was really adorable, and if you wanted, you could easily spend an entire day, or honestly a week, just tracking these down. They're everywhere. After a full weekend of sailing and eating and dwarf hunting, I returned to the Rheineck in time for sunset, and against the backdrop of the gorgeous colors in the square, I couldn't help but dwell on this newfound connection to Poland. You can be connected to a country and not realize it. My bus was set to leave Wrocław in about an hour. Since it was Easter Sunday, there was only one pierogi restaurant in town that was open. It was Stary Mirin. With how much I liked it the first time, trust me, I wasn't upset to be making a second visit. I ordered some different pierogis this time, got them fried instead of boiled, and got honey mustard on the side to mix things up. Now, overflowing with potato, I headed for the bus, which meant that I had the next 4 hours to think. The realizations that I had in Wrocław shook me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like many people go to a place and are surprised to find that they have a connection to it, like I did. Right? Most people know where they're from, and they're very aware of the
Most people know where they're from. Bullshit. What the hell is dude talking about? Most people do not know where they're from. Most people think they know where they're from. Most people know where their grandparents or their great-grandparents are from. Most people do not know where they're from. Meaning they can track like so many years behind. Like a person like me, dude, like me, like think about a guy like myself in Finland right now, right? There's so many things that could go crazy. Like I could have a kid, the kid goes to live in Spain, and then you're like, oh, and then they have a child, they're like, oh, my grandfather was from Finland. No, he wasn't. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't really think it's that easy to track unless you're doing some ancestry stuff, but I don't really think most people know where they're actually from, in my humble opinion. But maybe it's because I'm from a complicated family that is really diverse, and yeah, whatever. But this was actually pretty cool.
Influences of different cultures on their hometown. The irony of it all is that everyone from my hometown is so pro-America. They'll be taking a bite out of kielbasa in one hand and waving around an American flag in the other. They'll incorporate these very Polish foods and traditions into the everyday lives of their families and refuse to acknowledge the source. The United States was built on the backs of slaves and immigrants from all over the world. And yet, so many American citizens are uninterested in traveling to explore it. Less than half of Americans have a passport. Luckily, that number has improved substantially over what it used to be. But I think a whole lot of the overly nationalistic mindsets you'll find in the US, especially in Middle America, would shift if they had the chance to see firsthand the source of the traditions that they consider to be so American. Maybe if they did, we would start to see a country that is more open and accepting of others. Thank you so much for watching my story about Poland.
He's not lying. Like, the American culture is literally a bunch of stolen. I wouldn't say stolen. It's not stolen, but it's literally not like America. Like, no, it's not America, but it's influenced, into America, because like there are so many different cultures and things that you can find in the United States. It's real life. America is very cultured, but I think a lot of people think that these things are just all American, but they're not. Like, one of my I was outside playing basketball like a few days ago, and I was holding a stack of cones that you put on the floor to play basketball, and I was holding it in my hand, and I was like, oh yeah, look at me do Statue of Liberty. And when you think about the Statue of Liberty, I never knew that it wasn't even American. right? So though it's in America, it's not even American, like the origin of it. That's what I'm referencing. So I do get where he's coming from. And yeah, Poland seems to be really cool regarding food. Should be a nice place to visit, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out of here. Peace.